you please state your name and occupation for the record?
Certainly. I am Aristotle Means. I teach the lawyer course at Themis Legal Academy. And let me add that while I welcome any opportunity to assist with the trial, I don't care for this undue suspicion.
Don't worry, Professor. We're just interested in the mock trial video right now. We just need to take another look at that speech you gave. Can we count on your cooperation in this?
Very well. If that is all you're interested in, please proceed, Miss Sykes.
We need to find some sort of evidence that shows this speech was pre-recorded.
All right, I believe we're ready. Let's roll the video.
Good afternoon. I would like to start by thanking you for coming here today. The mock trial, the crown jewel event of the school festival, will begin shortly. When I was a student, I too could hardly wait for this day to come. Blah 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 means blah.
Oh no, I've forgotten how long and boring this speech was.
Blah 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 blah. Means blah 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 blah.
I love how it's in the distance.
Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
Waking up once this is over.
That's so good.
Hey, no fair.
Robot.
Would you?
Try.
The experiences of our youth have a powerful and profound effect on our adult. Blah 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 blah. Up, you there! Wake up! Pay attention!
Sorry.
I'm awake. I'm awake. Isn't that right, Your Honor?
I really, just really quickly, I want to cut in. I heard over the mic Luna's cat meowed
No.
and the widget voice was on. So I heard a robot cat.
I did not hear that. That's really funny. Someone get that clipped.
She already
might not
sounds
come
like a
through.
robot.
It might not have come through.
Oh. Judge!
What? What? I'm awake too. Wide awake, you see?
Once again, our pure white lady justice will be watching over all of you today. Pay attention and you may make a difference someday. Now let the mock trial begin.
Interesting.
That is about it. One of my better speeches, if I do say so myself. I even saw some of our students with tears in their eyes.
He's obviously not familiar with the phrase bored to tears.
Listen, Sykes-Donald. If you have subjected me to this epic study in tedium without purpose, Taka will feast on your tongue after I've cut it out.
Yeah. But you were asleep the whole time.
Well, Miss Sykes, did you notice anything strange about that speech?
Could I please hear that last part again?
Once again, our pure white Lady Justice will be watching over all of you today.
Hold it! There, I finally found what we needed. Professor Means, I only have one question about your speech. Why does that last part we just heard contradict with this?
Yeah.
Take that! Take that! The professor said the pure white lady of justice would be watching over them. But the Lady Justice in the video isn't even close to being white. It's as gold as can be.
I'm not sure I can wrap my jaw around that to test its authenticity.
I didn't say it was made of gold, Your Honor. Now, it's true that the statue is pure white. But it broke before the mock trial began. The one you see here is its replacement.
Oh, well, that's a shame on every count.
Ironically, this golden statue sticks out like a sore thumb compared to the white one. Meaning, the professor wouldn't have made it a mistake in its color if he'd been present.
It seems that I have caused some confusion, but it was merely an oversight on my part.
Objection! Objection! The statue was in the middle of the room. How could you not know what it looked like?
Well, I was in a balcony seat. Furthermore, the statue had previously been white.
I'm afraid this isn't sufficient evidence of the speech being pre-recorded.
We had our answer long ago. The accused was the only one to leave the lecture hall.
No, wait! There's got to be something that can prove that the speech was pre-recorded.
According to the mock trial video, the speech started here and ended here. It was a little over 10 minutes, but I doubt anyone wants to be tortured again. Athena, come back! I don't want
Athena's
to
gone
do
for a
this.
stroll.
Oh, does that mean I've got to do it by myself? Oh no.
It was only a little over 10 minutes. It felt like it went on forever.
Is that better? Could I do that?
Fulbright, we're
terrible.
going on another walk.
It was only a little over 10 minutes. It felt like it went on forever. How do you figure out how long it was?
Easy. There's a timestamp in the top right.
And I can count.
All you have to do is this. Subtract the time the speech started from the time it ended.
The speech goes from 10-minute mark to 20:35. Wait a second.
And then you go to college because your maths is crap.
I could swear I've seen the same interval of time listed among the evidence. Maybe there's a way for me to use the speech time to show it was pre-recorded.
Then maybe there's a way to use the speech time to show it was pre-recorded. Bob.
Needs to have the time on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I couldn't remember, but it was the first thing I went to. I'll let you know if you want.
Yeah, help me with this one. I'm sorry, that's like throwing me off a little bit.
On the second page of evidence.
One of these. What's the envelope?
This.
Oh.
testing.
Oh,
is
10 minutes
underway.
35
There you
there.
go. Yeah, I forgot about that voice print analysis thing.
I would want to take a look at this.
And this is...
The voice print analysis that proves the voice on the tape recorder belongs to our client.
Yes, but didn't we just establish that the voice on the tape recorder was a fabrication?
We did. But what I'd like to focus on is the noise that is also there.
I've updated the... What do you mean, noise?
Yes, the defense believes it's resulted when the tape's previous recording was erased.
What do you hope to prove by that?
The length of the noise is what's important. It's 10 minutes and 35 seconds in all. And what did the timestamp read at the moment Professor Means began his speech?
That would be exactly 10:00.
Now, let's fast forward to a long-winded exercise in bored enough to the end. Okay, stop. The video timestamp now reads 2035. Based on this, we know the time it took for the speech alone.
Right. Subtract 10 minutes, and you get 10:35. 10 minutes and 35 seconds?
Right, 10 minutes and 35 seconds, the same as the noise in the tape recording. I assume you all understand what this means. Professor Means' pre-recorded speech had been there where the noise is now.
Silence! You seem rather confident considering this is a mere happenstance match of numbers.
Objection! But is it really just numbers?
The lab is continuing their study of the tape. So far, they've found signs of overdubbing. But it's going to take a bit longer to recover the audio that was erased.
The police are analyzing the noise as we speak. It won't be long until we know what was originally there. Now I'm sure of it. The professor was trying to create an alibi with the recording. By pinning the crime on Junie. Well, he's not going to get away with it. Now, not on my watch.
Miss Sykes. I believe you are well aware of my methodology. Even if Juniper were the perpetrator, I would vigorously defend her as per my word. And to that purpose, I offered to be her lawyer. Alas, look what has happened.
All I've stated are obvious deductions derived from evidence and testimony.
Truth be told, I had no intention of testifying. I had been keeping quiet for Juniper's sake. But now that you cast this blame upon me, I have no choice but to reveal the truth.
Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good.
I will now reveal the truth behind why I had to pre-record my speech before the mock trial. I, Professor Means, always say what I mean, and mean what I say by all means.
And that's what he means.
Exactly.
Witness testimony. Professor Means.
The defendant came to me with what she said was very important and by necessity secret. She asked me to pre-record my speech and came to the audio room during the mock trial. Juniper confessed to the murder and asked that I get her declared innocent in court. She also said I'd become an accomplice after losing my alibi due to the pre-recording. But when I said I would protect Juniper, I meant it because it's the humane thing to do.
Oh my! So you're saying the defendant threatened you?
This has to be a lie. I mean, everything about it lines up too perfectly to be true.
On this most consequential of occasions, let me be completely frank with you. Juniper has truly taken to heart my teaching that the end justifies the means.
I don't believe you.
When she asked me to defend her, she said I must also prove her two friends innocent.
Your two friends? The witnesses?
Correct. Hugh O'Connor and Robin Newman. I was to ensure all three walked free. All three were to achieve their dream. That was the result Juniper was seeking. And she was even willing to threaten me, her own professor, to that end.
You no doubt had high praise for her ruthless tactics then.
Yes, well, that is why I vowed to vigorously defend her, despite her threatening me. There was a time when lawyers merely sought the truth if they wished for victory in court. But, alas, those days are over. Now in the defense of justice, order that all that is good, the end justifies the means.
I'm so sick of hearing that phrase.
Though it truly grieves me so, I must tell you this. Forsake the truth if it's victory you seek. Steel yourself for this new courtroom reality.
That does it. He's gonna regret dragging those dismal, depressing ideas in here. Since he's already surrendered to the dark age of the law, it's up to me to fight it.
Why so silent, Sykes-Stono? Something the matter?
This is a court of law. It's no place for long-winded talks about idealistic principles. That's how I'm going to let the evidence do the talking.
Let's not get carried away now, Miss Sykes. It will not do to have you attempting to discredit my doctrine. Do not force me to rectify this situation.
No, go ahead and rectify it. Only if I lose and you win, that is.
Okay.
Cross-examination.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I find it hilarious that anyone would think Juniper threatens this man. I mean, it's silly. Okay, it might be a job of just kind of collecting a bit of I don't think there's going to be anything incredibly blatant here, so it might be a job of just getting more information by a couple of presses.
I don't know, Juniper is quite the she-devil.
Juniper confessed to the murder and asked that I get her declared innocent in court. She also said I'd become an accomplice after losing my alibi due to the pre-recording. But when I said I would protect Juniper, I meant it because it's the humane thing to do. Alright, I'm gonna do some pressing. I just want a bit more info on this.
Hold it! Hold it! I doubt our client would have come to you with something like that.
You have a point there. If only Professor Court had been alive, I suspect Juniper would have gone to her instead.
So our client came to talk to you after Professor Court was dead?
Let's go through this step by step, shall we? First, Juniper came to me that day.
Okay. Pre-recorded, she asked me to pre-record my speech and come to the audio room during the mock trial.
Hold it! Hold it! Are you suggesting it was our client who told you to fake an alibi?
You have every reason to be surprised. I too was shocked when she told me that. Simply put, Juniper has a secret that she wished to protect that badly.
Is he kidding me? That lie couldn't be further from the truth. The problem is, how am I going to expose it?
It was an earnest request from an outstanding student. How could I possibly have refused?
Okay. Juniper confessed to murder and asked that I get her declared innocent in court.
Hold it! Hold it! Do you consider that a threat?
Yes, but it's now you to whom she has passed her demands on to. Miss Sykes, you must realize that you too are being used by Juniper.
What?
Your Honor, I ask that you two do not let her fiend weakness and innocence fool you. Juniper Woods is quite clever and extremely tough. And perhaps most important of all, she's a fervent follower of my teachings.
Objection! Objection! Your Honor! The witness's testimony is nothing but an attack on our client's character.
Very well. Objection sustained.
So be it. Nevertheless, the fact that she threatened me is immutable.
Okay, so that didn't add anything extra. I'd become an accomplice after losing my alibi due to the pre-recording. This is the one I wanted to press more on.
Hold it! Hold it! How could you overlook such a threat? As a teacher, it's your duty to discipline students.
Yes, well, perhaps I do have some serious reflection to do on this matter. I suppose it was just wishful thinking on my part. I wanted to believe that Juniper hadn't actually committed murder and that she hadn't meant to threaten me.
Huh?
Really? Please do explain.
Long had I waited for a student who would embody my teachings.
Does the witness realize what he is saying?
Surely you must see the true meaning in my words. I am merely staying true to what I teach, and my methods are but a reflection of the times.
Oh wow, his way of thinking is really warped. But I haven't heard any inconsistencies yet.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Really?
the more he tries to avoid logical inconsistencies in his testimony. The more likely we'll see inconsistencies between his actions and the words.
It is a dark age in which we live, and there is much I would like to say on the matter.
When I said I would protect Juniper, I would do it because it's the most humane thing to do.
Hold it! You were trying to protect our client? Yeah, right. He'll say anything to pin the blame on Junie.
What a frightful look. I would ask that you not glare at me so. I have nothing but admiration for how Juniper was willing to go as far as to threaten me. That is why I'm protecting her by any means possible. She has been a model student.
Liar! You're trying to pin the blame on her. How am I going to show that what he's saying isn't what he's really thinking?
You cannot possibly overturn my claims, so isn't it time you admitted defeat? After all, if my unassailable logic is not truth, then what is?
If he thinks I'm going to give in to his pack of lies, he's got another thing coming. I'm gonna find a hole in his story if it's the last thing I do.
Even though he's rotten to the core, he's a total pro. I mean, that all makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but you can't believe a word he says. He's making this up as he goes along. He'll trip up on his own words yet. Time to see how consistently the professor's testimony matches up with his actual actions.
Okay, we've
You
got
know,
something.
you know, for a guy who was trying to defend Juniper in court, he sure made a piece of shit evidence.
Piece of damning evidence against Junie.
Damning evidence against Junie.
It kind of does the opposite of what he wanted it to do, right?
This. Right?
Well, what's fake?
Oh. That. Identifies the fake. Professor Means used Hugh to pass it on to the police. I just don't know where it is.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know where to present that.
To me, the most logical place to put that is that he's saying he's going to protect Juniper by pinning the blame on Juniper.
Asked me to pre-record my speech. The defendant came to me and asked, it was very important and named by a necessary secret. She asked me to pre-record my speech and come to the mirror. Juniper confessed to murder that Juniper confessed to the murder, and I asked that I get her declared innocent in court.
Wait,
No?
read on.
She also said I'd become an accomplice after losing my alibi to the pre-recording.
Her demand, her blackmail,
Right.
his response is...
Losing alibi due to pre-recording. But when I said I would protect Juniper, I'm... Okay. So it's the last one, right?
That's where I think.
Because it says, yeah, I would protect Juniper, I think is the important bit.
And
of
it's
wording.
also a contradiction too, because like if Juniper really is a murderer, it wouldn't be the humane thing to do to protect her. That's not humane if she's
Yeah.
really a murderer.
Yeah, it's not. So here.
Objection!
Nice. Good job, guys.
Objection! So let me get this straight. You were trying to help Miss Woods? Ha! That's nothing more than a bold-faced lie. No offense, Your Honor.
Such defamation of my character and your hair follicles, Your Honor. It is an outrage.
Miss Sykes will clarify her statement, but leave my hair follicles out of it this time. Very offended.
Yes, of course, Your Honor. Now please take a look at this. The witness gave this tape to Mr. O'Connor. Then he slyly whispered, "Take this to the police and tell them you found it."
There was no whispering, slyly or otherwise involved. I simply did that out of kindness.
Objection! The tape contained our client's voice. In short, it is incredibly damaging evidence. Why would it even exist if the witness wasn't trying to pin the murder on our client? They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but not yours.
Sorry, that's the line I gave. Sorry to stop. That is the line I gave Luna when we were doing auditions. Wow, that's funny.
You never had good intention, only lies to protect yourself while blaming another. You, Professor, are the embodiment of the dark age of the law.
Nice.
Objection. Why, you little... You dare call my teachings and methods lies? Oh. Fuck.
Oh!
Themis Legal Academy is a proud institution. It's the most powerful in the world.
Holy shit.
You'll never forget what true education and lawyering means once I'm through with you.
Sick.
Huh? Professor Means, what's with your hair?
Quiet! No talking in class!
Ah!
Oh, that's so cool.
Eyes and ears up here, everyone. Homeroom is now in session. We will begin with roll call. Athena Sykes.
Huh? Oh, here?
Apollo Justice.
I'm fine. I mean, here.
Fool! The proper response is here without any extraneous information.
Ouch! I mean, here. Oh.
Next, Your Honor.
Here!
See, class? That's the proper way to answer. Simon Blackwell. I said Simon Blackwell. Are you here or not?
Oh my god. There's always one, isn't there?
Well then I'll just mark you absent. Now get out of my class this instant.
Get out. Very well. If that is your wish, who am I to defy my homeroom teacher?
Is that such a good idea? Prosecutor Blackwell is free of his shackles. Ha ha ha! It just so happens I was a member of my high school disciplinary committee!
God damn it.
But is it that really so shocking?
Constabulary lapdog to teacher's pet. What a malleable mutt you are, fool bright.
Very good, Bobby. You just earned yourself a gold star and a promotion to head disciplinarian.
This pose.
Yeah!
This pose is sick.
All right, class is now in session.
Ugh. Why do I have a sudden urge to go to the nurse's office with a stomachache? Ugh.
Pay attention. I am not the killer Juniper is. This will be on the next test, so you had better be listening.
Objection!
Objection! But Professor, you created the phony tapes to pin the blame on Juniper. Plus, you were the only one who could have moved the body during the mock trial.
Objection. Athena, you disappoint me so. To think you would label me a murderer. Now pay attention. The murder occurred on the 23rd between 6 and 8 p.m. But I was already at home by that time, so how could I have been involved in this crime?
Objection!
Objection! Professor Means, can you really prove you had gone home by that time?
Objection! Can you prove that I was still at school?
No. No, I can't.
So you admit it. Well, you just earned extra credit for your honesty. But you have also earned yourself lavatory cleaning duties until you graduate.
Ew!
Oh, that was automatic. Oh!
No, wait, man! I totally object!
Robin?
Oh my...
I can't believe I fell for the professor's silver-tongued lies!
Why, you? How dare you talk about your teacher like that?
I'm not listening to you anymore, man! No way, no how! Now, I have a confession to make! You know those two statues that were on stage? I didn't make them all by myself!
The statue's on stage. Do I want to know where this is headed?
I was able to finish one of them, but the last bell rang before I had time for the other one. So I asked Professor Means to make it for me. And yes, this is Duel's Destinies.
In other words, the professor was there on stage after the last bell.
Right! And it would have been way past 7 p.m. before he could have finished.
Professor Means was still at school? This is... well, this is incredibly important testimony. I forgot I talked to myself.
The professor told me I'll take care of it. I thought my parents would let me be an artist if I said I'd made both statues myself. I'm so sorry for not telling the truth!
Robin.
Objection! Quick! Somebody get this juvenile delinquent out of my sight! Simon, you're the head honcho among the delinquents. Do something! Ah! Oh! And who's in charge of the class bed around here?
I love that face! That's amazing! Get him, Taka. Go, go, go.
Not interested. But if you want a class in swordsmanship, I'm your man. Of course, only real blades will do.
No swords at school. All weapons will be confiscated. Ah! Oh! Nurse! Nurse! Where's a school nurse when you need one?
It would seem Sykes don't owe Sheiks a showdown, Professor. In which case, you would do well to draw your staff quick as lightning.
Very well. Then I will just have to prove my innocence myself. The real lessons begin at second period. Prepare to be served old school style.
Oh, you're gonna bust out the rhymes.
What does that?
Shit, I'm in.
Oh, never mind. Your testimony, please.
Sorry, I was changing. There you go, your sprite is now updated.
Witness testimony. Professor Means' work of art.
Now pay attention. Robin took over half a day to complete one statue. I, however, finished most of the other statue between 7 and 8:30 p.m. The defendant Juniper saw the two statues with her own eyes at 8:30 p.m. Completing a statue so quickly meant I could not leave the stage for a single second. How could I have possibly had the time to go to the art room and commit murder?
You're saying the defendant saw the finished statues?
Precisely. She said so herself at the detention center yesterday. Her defense team was there and heard her say so too. Don't try to deny it now!
That evening, I went back to my dressing room to get something I'd forgotten there. It was well after the last bell rang. I'd say maybe around 8:30. That's when I noticed that both stage statues were finished. They were quite large and they were each covered with a white sheet, but I could tell.
Oh, right. The professor was there when the matter came up. Before I address the professor's charges, I have a question for Robin. How hard would it be to complete a statue like that in 1.5 hours?
It would probably take me at least twice as LONG. So personally, I think it would be incredibly difficult to finish in that short of time.
Gah! That didn't exactly help our case. But he won't get off that easy. He's bound to stumble over his slippery means.